Hi YouTube, welcome back to another video. In today's video I want to talk about how to get started for beginners who want to fast for weight loss, and I'll be talking about intermittent fasting, alternate day fasting, things like OMAD, prolonged fasting and its benefits. So let's get straight into the video. Right guys, so I want to start off by saying this is my disclaimer. This video is not for those who are children, it's not for those who have an eating disorder, and in relation to health, if you have any illnesses, it might be best to consult your doctor before doing anything that I'm talking about. These are things that I've done, they've worked for me, but you have to also be safe in what you're doing, okay? If you see me looking down, I do have my notes here. So just referring to my notes so that I don't forget anything. The first thing I want to talk about is getting into fasting. So if you're somebody who's come from a lifestyle of just eating when you want, what you want, all day, it might be very difficult for you to initially get into fasting. It might not be, but it might be. And so these are some tips that might help you. First thing I want to talk about is intermittent fasting. Within intermittent fasting, there are several different types of fasting. So I'm going to start with the 16-8. What that means is you're fasting for 16 hours, but then you have an 8-hour window to eat. Don't forget, a lot of the time that we're talking about fasting, you're asleep as well, because those times you're not eating, so that can be included in your fasting time. So an example I've got here is you start eating at 11 in the morning and your last meal is around 7 p.m. at night. That is an 8-hour eating window. And so for the rest of the time, from 7 p.m. until 11 a.m. the next morning, you don't eat. And like I said, a majority of that time you will be spent sleeping anyway. I would say you're just starting out. You don't want to scare yourself, shock yourself, put yourself off. I would eat my normal meals, eat what I would normally eat, but just reduce the amount of time I'm eating during the day. You might find that 16-8, you alter what you eat, you start eating a bit more healthy, and that's good enough for you. You're happy to stay there, you're happy with the weight loss you're getting from that, and that's fine. But if you do find you want to turn it up a notch, then you could go, and this, don't forget guys, this is all just an example, because there's going to be people out there that say, no, I would suggest this kind of eating schedule, or I wouldn't advise that, I would advise this. What you need to remember about fasting is it's personal to you. It might be that your schedule allows you to eat during the night because you're doing night shifts and you're sleeping during the day, so you want to fast during the day. There's many different situations and scenarios, so you just do what's best for you. Don't compare yourself to anybody, and that's what I would suggest. So a second example I have here is the 18-6, which means you're fasting for 18 hours and then you have a 6-hour eating window. And what that may look like is you start eating at 12 lunchtime and your last meal is by 6 o'clock. That is one of my favourite ones. If I decide that it's Christmas Day or something and I don't want to be eating all day, give myself that little time there. And then the third one, again, you might decide that you want to take it up a notch if the 18-6 isn't for you. The third slot I've got here, it's at 24. So you're eating for in a 4-hour window and you're fasting for 20 hours. I mean, that's a hardcore one. You might be able to go straight into that. You might find that you need to build up to that. 4-hour window, you might be eating between 3 and 7 in the afternoon or something like that. I mean, like I said, it's personal to yourselves. And then the fourth week, or whenever you're ready to take it up a notch, you might want to go to OMAD. And what that is, it's 1 meal a day. So if the best time for you to eat is at 6 p.m, that's when you'll have your meal, probably in an hour window. It might be that it's 3 o'clock, it might be that it's just breakfast, but it's just the 1 meal for the day. After 1 meal a day, you might decide that you want to go to alternate day fasting, which is eating every other day. That is something, as again, that I feel like it's a fantastic tool, can help with weight loss and many other things, which I will go into. And then after alternate day fasting, if you still want to turn it up a notch, then you can go on to prolonged fasting, which is fasting for however long you want, really. I'm currently doing 5-day fasts rolling, so fast for 5 days, break my fast, and then go back into another 5-day fast. That is hardcore. I've just started doing it consistently. It's getting easier, but it wasn't easy in the beginning. I'm going to go through some pros of fasting. So the first one I've got here is it boosts your cognitive performance. So what that means is it's referring to things such as learning, thinking, reasoning, remembering, problem solving, decision making, your attention span. And I can bear witness to this one because when I first started doing back-to-back fasting, so not like just a one-off for the week, I think it was when I started doing alternate day fasting, if I'm honest. I just remember feeling really sharp when I was working, like I could think a lot quicker, my mind felt a lot clearer. So that's definitely one that I can say works. Next one I've got is protects from obesity. And not just obesity, also the associated chronic diseases such as cardiovascular disease, so that's diseases to do with the heart, certain cancers, diabetes, hypertension, that's high blood pressure, osteoarthritis, gallstones, and musculoskeletal problems. So that's the benefits of fasting. Another one is that it can help reduce inflammation. So whenever you have pain, you generally have inflammation. An example of this might be arthritis, and apparently there have been studies done to show that there was like a group of people with arthritis. They got them to fast for a week, and at the end of that week they had significantly reduced inflammation at the actual site, whether that be their knee, elbow, or whatever. I wasn't there. This is just what I've read, but that's interesting. And another thing that I can bear witness to, I was diagnosed with arthritis in my right hip at a very young age, a teenager. And the reason why I had the arthritis is because, I say had, I don't know if it's gone, but the reason I was diagnosed with the arthritis is because, fun fact about me, my right leg is about 1.5 inches, 2 inches longer than my left leg. And so I do walk with a little limp. So with this leg difference, the whole reason why I went to the doctor in the first place is because I was having pain in my right hip. You wouldn't really expect that as a young teenager. I used to play basketball, I was very active, so it was a bit weird. So I had some tests done and things. It was found that I had arthritis, and so bone was rubbing against bone. I'd have a lot of pain if I was sitting for a long time, if I was standing for a long time. And I can honestly say, even though I don't fast consistently all the time, I do have months off sometimes, weeks off, I have definitely had no pain, absolutely no pain in the last few years. We're talking about 5 years. I've had no pain, no hip pain whatsoever. Now, I don't know if it's to do with the fasting, if arthritis can just disappear, which I highly doubt. But yeah, so think about that. So fasting helps reduce inflammation. And then obviously, one of my faves is it helps support with weight loss. And I guess that's obviously because you're eating less calories. There's nothing going in, so you're gonna, well, it's not nothing, but there's a lot less going in. And so you're losing that weight, which is one of my favorites. Of course, I love weight loss, me. I just want to reiterate that your fasting journey is your fasting journey. If you want to do this schedule over that schedule, if you want to eat at this time instead of that time, that is your business. Don't feel pressured by other people. You might see, I don't know, Mary doing a 10-day fast and losing 100 pounds in a month, and you're like, OMG, that's just amazing, I need to do that. Putting that pressure on yourselves, it's just not necessary. Find the schedule that works for you, stick to it. And I think it's really important that in the beginning, when you first start fasting, that you definitely make it, tailor it to you, your lifestyle, when you're working, when you get your lunch break. If you want to eat with the family, you can make sure your eating window falls in that time. Like, don't put too much pressure on. I'm speaking as somebody who not too long ago was putting a lot of pressure on myself, and it just caused a lot of stress, unnecessary stress. Going slowly, going gently, get used to it, and then you can decide if you want to up it to OMAD or alternate day fasting, or if you're just happy where you are. When it comes to what you eat, again, that's your personal choice. It depends on why you're doing it. Are you doing it because you've been diagnosed with arthritis and you're overweight, you've got a lot of pressure on your knees, you need to lose weight? In that case, you're not going to incorporate burgers into your daily meals. So you have to also have a bit of common sense with it. Choose to eat healthier always, but there needs to be a balance. I like to say, because I'm doing the 5-day fast at the moment, I like Monday to be a day where me and my partner, we both have the day off and we'll go out and have something to eat, no restrictions. So if it's a burger, it's a burger. If it's Chinese, if it's Indian, if it's Caribbean, there's no restriction, because during that week I've been highly restricted with no food for 5 days. However, if I was doing OMAD, I might decide that, oh, I'm just gonna have my favorite chocolate, for example, on a Saturday rather than every day. So you just have to sit down, make a plan, do what works for you, feel good. And if you're not feeling good, it might be that you need to alter something, you might need to go to the doctor, but just be kind to yourselves. Editing Radia here, and I forgot a big chunk. What I want to talk about, guys, I also want to talk about exercise, because we all know exercise is just good, it's got, you know, its benefits. But can you exercise whilst fasting? So this might be something where people agree, disagree, have their different opinions. So a disclaimer again, this is what I do, this is what works for me, and so I'm just telling you about my experience. I find that I can exercise whilst fasting, no issues. Now, I have not yet been to the gym on a 5-day fast. That's something that I'm going to experiment with this week. I feel like I'll be fine, because when I'm fasting, I'm never so weak that I can't physically move around. However, if you're new to fasting, you might want to consider getting used to fasting before you get in the gym. When I've done dry fasting, which is no food, no water for 2, 3, 4, 5 days on end, I have found that I'm quite weak after day 2 of a dry fast, and so I personally wouldn't get into the gym then. The reason why I was dry fasting is because I really wanted to renew my cells. I had psoriasis, my skin was really flared up, really bad, itchy, sore, and I wanted to dry fast to sort that out, and it helped. But I don't just dry fast just out of the blue for weight loss, no. I've told myself I would not dry fast unless I needed to. I find it very difficult. If you go back to one of my very old videos, probably a year or 2 ago, I did a 5-day, was it a 5-day? I think I did a 5-day dry fast. That was excruciating. I don't see the need to put myself through that again unless it's absolutely necessary. But yeah, I digress. The gym, I personally find that when I'm doing any kind of intermittent fasting, so if I'm doing an 8-hour window, a 4-hour window, if I'm doing OMAD, even if I'm doing alternate day fasting and 3-day fasts, I've had no issues getting in the gym. Like I've said, like I keep saying, listen to your body. You can't just see somebody else doing something and say, I'm going to do the same as them. You need to work out what's best for you. And at the beginning, when you first get into fasting, it might be too difficult for you to get into the gym, and that is okay. You might just want to start with a walk. You do a walk, you're drinking your water, you find, oh, okay, that's fine. That was really okay. Now I want to try and see if I can do some light weights in the gym. You do that, that's okay. You might want to see, oh, can I do a class? You do a class. So you just have to listen to your body and do what you feel is right, okay? And so that answers the question. Do I believe you can go to the gym and fast? Yes, I do. I hope this video has been very helpful. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye now.